Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Shubhayan Chakrabarti, and I'm one of the presenters who have been selected by Literoma to present a paper for ICLAT. And I would like to first of all express my heartfelt gratitude to Literoma for organizing this conference. And I would like to give a small intro of myself. I'm a postgraduate student and I have recently completed my post-graduation from St. Xavier's University, Kolkata. And right now I am an aspiring MBA candidate and will be appearing for a few MBA exams this year. So that's enough about me. Let's begin with what I have written. Digital services are changing the way we read and purchase books, and even though it might be hard to break the habit of turning the pages of a real book, there are actually quite a few benefits to this dramatic change. Now, for thousands of years, probably long before Gutenberg invented the printing press, access to written sources like scrolls, historical readings, recordings, or books in order to get information was considered a luxury. While we don't consider books a luxury now, books were copied by hand in a painstaking process before most were lost to wars, natural disasters, or neglect. However, Gutenberg's revolutionary invention in the 15th century revolutionized the way books are produced, and along with it, people's reading habits began to change. Today, while we stand here in the 21st century, we are experiencing another such revolution thanks to digital technology. Like the printing press did, technological blessings like the internet, smart boards, tablets, smartphones, e readers are once more reshaping our reading and learning habits entirely. One of the key things that have changed as a direct consequence of advancing technology is the way we obtain new information. The age of searching through dusty libraries shelves for books to find one piece of information is long gone. Now one can access hundreds of sources, literally hundreds of sources are available at your fingertips. Almost any subject can be accessed with the click of a button and by using search engines. Compared to searching through physical books and library archives, which might have limited resources, using a search engine to find specific information is much more practical and efficient. Therefore, the time you would just need to find resources in a library could actually be enough to find, examine, and critically analyze the same information. Now, most people attribute technology to a negative few factors, which I am not denying. Certainly, negative factors are there when we consider technology. And I would just like to establish a few of these negative factors before I go to the other side of the topic. We have what we know as hypertext. It is perhaps true that one imagines that people are much more likely to mentally switch off using digital devices. As users begin swiping and scrolling, they essentially delve into a world optimized for distractions. Online texts are spiked with ads, links, and hypertext, which open doors to multiple tangents, thus disabling and diverting the mind's inherent curiosity. Hyperlinks are actually a major distractor when attempting to read a longer, somewhat more cohesive text. And now, in terms of hyperlinks, I would like to add another factor which is important and which a lot of people consider as a negative impact of technology on our reading habits, and that is the factor of the altering screen. In addition to hypertext, there is perhaps another feature of reading on the screen that makes it harder to find where you are while reading. Given a screen's ability to scroll, to alter the size of the text, to alter how many columns it presents, etc., it becomes seemingly difficult to form a reliable visualization of the material at hand. Longer articles are broken down into pages, further confounding the reader's sense of where she or he is in that piece. All of this matters since, in my perspective, a good spatial mental representation of the physical layout of the text leads to better reading comprehension. Now, while these are negative factors which are attributed to technology, I would also like to present the flip side, the edge that technology provides us. Would it be completely alright to dismiss the boon that is technology? Ask yourself this question: has the digital age only served as a distraction, or has mankind sincerely taken a leap forward in terms of their reading habits? Undoubtedly, technology has deeply impacted the contemporary generation's reading skills. But are all these impacts indeed negative? I would just like to point out that there are quite a few pros which people often fail to recognize and attribute technology as entirely a negative phenomenon. The primary factors which I would like to attribute are the information percolation and propagation system, which has significantly increased ever since technology came into existence. Then, of course, there is the phenomenon of portability. Tired of lugging around a textbook or a dictionary? It's simple. Just download a PDF or a portable document format of the same text. It is immeasurably easier to carry tons of books which are reduced to mere data to pursue at one's leisure. Then, of course, there is the conception of the feasibility of digital texts, the ergonomics of digital reading vis-a-vis physical reading, the evolution of reader response, which is a critical factor which needs to be taken into consideration, as the reader is not merely an individual entity but belongs to a much larger community of readers. Then there is the concept of the evolving algorithms, which makes it much easier for readers to have the pace, diversity, complexity, and form of reading materials which are adjusted to their personality. And last but not least, we have the digressions, the so-called digressions. As for the distractibility phenomenon characterized by hyperlinks, texts are more often than not layered with links and supplemental media to compensate for reading levels or background knowledge. This isn't actually a distraction, mind you. Done properly, this can actually contextualize the text and where you stand in reference to the text. Now, to conclude, I would just like to ask you one simple question. Technology does everything in a systematic procedure. The art of reading has also considerably evolved in the digital era. So, why should we remain hindered when we can progressively adapt and evolve to usher in a brighter future? It seems redundant that we should not accept technology and its offerings. We should actually be glad that technology exists in our lives and enables a better reading experience. I would like to leave you with this question. And with that, I rest my case. Thank you.